being dominated by Team W to start the game off for quite some time. He took a long time to get back into it.
I mean, it feels like there's less of a difference between the likes of Athena and Baimi as opposed to a Voidless and Midi. But Athena and Baimi, I mean, they're at the top of the KDA for mid laners. They've just been kind of consistent control mage players, and it's nice to see them expand their champion pool so quickly to pick up the Malzahar and to be a threat.
And see them twice. They didn't sub them out.
Well, now Team WE and IMA are going to be battling out against one another once again in Game 2 here. Now in Champion Select, IMA this time on the red side. Team WE will be taking to the blue side of the rift as Alistar, Jhin, and Malzahar are going to be the three bands that come out from Team WE. IMA taking away the Maokai again, as well as the Na. Already two big bands up towards 957.
Very curious that the Malzahar ban is coming out from blue side. Would certainly fit in Xie's wheelhouse. In fact, I feel like we've actually seen him play it.
And another man actually being targeted towards 957 as they take away his gangplank in game number 2.
I feel like they want to make him decide right now between the Vladimir or the Shen.
Yep.
Because you take the Vlad, I would not be surprised to see Aime's immediate response be Shen Hecarim.
Well, first up, Team WE will be taking that Vladimir down. Let's see if Aime do go for the Shen and Hecarim as their first two picks.
Should be noted, though, that Xie is an absolute monster on the Vladimir. One of the first mid laners in the LPL to bring that out and just show how devastating he can be in a 1v1 matchup.
It's actually not going to be the Hecarim that does get locked in for Aime here. Instead, they do go for the Shen, like you mentioned earlier, Rusty, and they do go for Braum as their first pick of choice, which I believe was banned out last game.
They still have the Karma that they can go back to. So Karma, good answer into Malzahar, also has a good matchup against Vladimir. We've seen RNG run the Karma Shin as well, and it acts very similar to the Hecarim Shin combo in that you have your speed up and you just run Shin right into them.
It seems like they want to pick another champion instead that does pretty much a similar thing with Sivir being their AD carry of choice to pair up with that Hecarim.
Similar prospects to game number 1. The major difference, of course, being that LeBlanc's not visible. But, of course, there's no Malzahar to contend with. However, it does mean that one of the major assassins for a Kog'Maw is now going to be missing. And so if IMA do look towards this one again, utilizing the MVP-worthy Shen, this time with a Braum to boot, it'll be even easier to keep him alive.
Well, let's see what else IMA decide to piece together here to protect this Kog'Maw if they do lock it in. Still waiting to see what IMA are going to be picking up as their next two picks.
Yeah, not a surprise, again, if they lock that in. My immediate thoughts go to 957 almost needing to be a Nautilus to respond to this, because IMA are 100% on keeping the Kog alive.
And is going to be that Karma? No, they don't. Thought that was going to be the lock-in for sure coming up from IMA, but instead they do go for the Graves as their jungler of choice, keeping their mid lane pick for last, and immediately Team WE look to try and pick up Irelia as well as Bard.
Very different identity coming out of 957. So we're starting to see him transition more into carry-oriented top laner. It's not that he can't fill that role, it's just that his responsibility in Team WE has very much been that space creation, you know, the Lissandra, the Maokai. So from Gangplank to Aurelia, he's starting to make his transformation.
So IMA on the flip side do lock in their final pick, which will be that Karma coming in the mid lane for Athena in game number 2.
Again, we talked about this. RNG ran the exact same composition almost, just not with Kog'Maw, with Ashe. And what they did is they just ulted Karma at level 6, and she sped herself up into the enemy mid laner and killed him.
I guess the beauty of this composition as well, and why Ashe usually excels within it, is because you need some kind of engage. That's now missing from IMA. Of course, they do move quickly, but between a Shen and a Kog'Maw, it's more stand and deliver. And so they're actually banking on WE going towards them.
On top of that, I do believe we've seen this Karma into Vladimir matchup as well. I believe Punish from LGD was the first person to play it to try and win his lane with the champion. Let's see if Athena can do the same thing against CA here. He had a poor performance in the laning phase last match. Looking to try and turn it around in game number 2 here against Team WE, as we are about to head onto Summoner's Rift for that match. Game 2 between IMA and Team WE. And we're back onto Summoner's Rift for game number 2 between Team WE and IMA. As IMA, off of one big play around Elder Dragon, were able to pick up game 1 against Team WE, who opted to pick up the Baron instead. That was a long 40-minute match between the two teams that was fairly quiet to start out.
Again, credit does need to go to IMA and their genius in drafting. Know that most of the time, Team W are going to take it late, so let's pick up the Hypercarry Kog'Maw. On the other side, though, Team WE still picking up relatively strong backline dive champions in the Aurelia, the Hecarim, as well as having the AoE Beyblade arena with Vladimir and Sivir.
Yeah, it'll be very strong from WE. I may need to work entirely around keeping Mitty and Jin Zhao alive because that is the biggest source of their damage as the game progresses, though. And one of the added bonuses that they have is that Jin Zhao's damage is very much mixed. And it doesn't mean they're going to be strictly physical dealers. They have a pretty nice array of damage ensembles.
Well, it's a big match for both these teams. IMA and Team WE both 9-4 in the standings of Group B. IMA one game up at the moment, looking to see if they can take their second place spot in the group ahead of Team WE, knocking them down to 3rd.
And again, this is a big chance for IMA to prove that they are an elite team in the LPL. They came into cross-conference, spiked up on their record. I believe they went 5-1 after all was said and done, and then immediately went back into Group B, really struggled against OMG, made an immediate roster shift, and have looked strong against Team WE so far, but this is their moment to prove themselves that we do deserve to be in the same breath as the elite of the LPL, whereas on the other side, Team WE, they're trying to step back up into the throne that World Elite left them and prove that their victory over RNG was not just a fluke.
Let's see if they can do just that. Last game we saw a lane swap coming out from the two teams. This time around we have standard lanes from both Team WE and IMA already on the bottom side of the map. Mystic and Zero trading quite aggressively against Road and Jin Zhao. Able to hit level 2 first here as both both AD carries took a camp at level 1.
Yeah, Sivir running the Warlord's Bloodlust means that Sustain is favoring WE.
On the top side of the map, Amazing J putting in work on towards 957 on Shen. Was already able to knock the Aurelia out of lane quite significantly. Already at half health and not many corrupting potion stacks left.
We've seen this matchup a lot. Shin will win it early, amassing huge creep waves, and then, of course, taunting the melee top laner into the creep wave to exchange the trade. That said, sooner or later, 957 will start to out-itemize him, and then it becomes about how Amazing J can just slow Aurelia down.
Let's see if they can do just that. Smithy now looking to try and make an early rotation towards the bottom side of the map. Zero missing. Have to be a little bit careful. Here they come. Exhaust being put down on towards the Sivir. Flashes on top of the hot cocoa to get to safety. They're going to lock him down with the concussive blows. And Jin Zhao picks up first blood. He's able to lock down Zero as well, but he's back to the safety of his turret.
Really clean early kills there. They knew they wanted it. They even used the exhaust early as Road had to flash to auto attack, but they still got the passive proc. Mystic level 2. Didn't look like he actually had his spell shield available as Condi
stopped. The map, Condi looking to try and take down Amazing J, is able to ghost on towards him, but a good flash separates the Shen from this Hecarim and doesn't get knocked back.
Meanwhile, bottom.
They're looking to try and take down Zero here. Concussive blows almost gets procced, but just not quite enough coming out from Jin Zhao and Road.
And the signal being to go for IMA on the bottom side simply because they saw Condi top side. So far, junglers making very early movements on the map, but IMA leading tempo and pace.
So first blood was picked up by IMA previously on the bottom side of the map, giving them a slight goal lead at the moment. Not too significant this early into the game as the dust settles and people go back into their regular laning phase. Smithy now looking to try and clear out the bottom side of his map.
I'm just frankly so impressed with Mitty. He did not have the greatest showing entering the LPL under whatever identity you choose to remember him by. But coming into this series very strong and really showing that there was intelligence behind IMA's really late roster rotation. I mean, we're 2 weeks out of playoff. Risky business.
So we can actually see a teleport being used into the mid lane by Athena. Try and go toe-to-toe against CS Vladimir, who's packing Ghost onto Summoner's Rift. Up on the top side of the map, we continue to see 957 and Amazing J duke it out. A small CS lead for 957 at the moment. That should be equalized when this wave crashes on towards the Shen's turret.
And once again, to reiterate the fact, bottom lane gets the focus from IMA. Midi comes down, they get the kills. Jin Zhao is everything for this team composition alongside that Graves. And so they focus the lane where the biggest snowball can actually occur. And that's a step in the right direction.
I also cannot believe how aggressive and forward Mystic is playing this, despite the fact that he doesn't have his summoners available to him. Condi slipping in the back here. He slipped underneath all vision because Aime's vision are placed out in the river and as well as the Tri. So there is actual kill threat here, but...
Seems like he's just going to be heading back to base. Opts not to get a gank on towards Jin Zhao and Road. Jin Zhao actually picking up his Berserker Greaves as his first item. Upgrading his boots as fast as he possibly could. Mid lane now trying to shove, Athena's trying to shove Sia underneath his turret. Both rather healthy. A small CS lead for Athena, but that should be equalized by the Vladimir shortly.
Berserker Greaves' rush on Kog'Maw is incredibly cost efficient if you think that attack speed is such an important stat for Kog. Likewise, the adjustments to those boots about 4 patches ago just puts him in a really nice spot.
So 2 games in a row, I may opt to go with the Kog'Maw as the AD carry. Like we mentioned in Champion Select, that does mean without the Astra or any other initiating AD carries being picked up, it's going to be difficult for them to start these fights. But I think if they can protect him, it's going to be a lot of damage being put down by this Kog'Maw. They're still trading rather aggressively back and forth against Mystic and Zero here.
Yeah, got to use your W timer. Every single time it's available, and you increase your attack speed, damage, and range with which you carry yourself. Braum being able to work similar to the Braum Lucian lane. Kog'Maw can stun you extremely quickly. He's always going to be a dangerous threat in lanes like this.
Good trades coming out from Athena in the mid lane, forcing the Sanguine Pool coming out from Sia, getting him pretty low in health. Top side of the map, still the same story. Amazing J 957 duking it back and forth. In fact, Flash being burnt in the mid lane. As Mythy even makes his way towards the middle side of the map. Sia's going to have to go back to base.
But here's the thing. Aime's laners will have the confidence to be this aggressive, knowing that it's a Hecarim in the jungle. Yeah, Hecarim can look for early ganks, but hold on.
Amazing J going to take a little bit of damage on the top side of the map, puts down the dodge field to mitigate some of that damage that comes out from Irelia. Mythy even making his way up towards the top side of the map to see if he can get a gank on towards 957.
Standing on a ward.
Yeah. They know he's there. You can see the Hecarim now moving up level 6, so a counter gank's about to be baited.
Let's see what happens here. The taunt actually missing coming out from Amazing J there. 957 does go down first, though. From all the damage that the Graves and Shem were able to put out, the counter gank doesn't work for Team WE.
Yeah, when you're taunted, you just get completely locked down, so there is no such thing as a bait in a situation like that. It's actually just dying. Because once again, they see the Hecarim, they move forward.
Let's see what they can do. Good stun comes out from Zero to lock down both Road and Jin Zhao. The ultimate will come out as well, locking both of them too. Mystic looking to see if he can get any damage out, but there's the Stand United to chase them down even further. Teleports will come out too. Magical Journey will take Road to his death here as he just chased down Mystic and Zero. The rest of his team just leaves him to die.
That's so unfortunate an interaction.
The teleport got cancelled by 957 is the worst thing. They were ready to go on the journey. And Jin Zhao was like, no, I can't do this. There's a teleport about to kill me. And then 957 cancels it. They were baited all along.
Team W with that play able to put themselves on the scoreboard there, or from the play coming out from Aime able to put themselves on the scoreboard. This is a pretty good rotation of spells coming out from Zero to lock down the AD carry and support.
Still showing the confidence of Mystic and Zero that they can continue to bully Jin Zhao and Road despite the initial pressure that MIDI had granted them.
This isn't fun to see.
We've seen this lane a few times now, Rusty.
That man needs to go back to base.
Still sitting on his Doran shield, keeping up in CS quite nicely, but slowly being whittled down by this Karma.
He's such a unique Vladimir player. Every other Vladimir goes Spirit Visage first item, or at least the Spectre's Cow, so that you have some kind of resistance to the base damages that go against you. He just gets a Proto Belt.
He's the OG.
Dash cannon, Rusty. 40 seconds of dashing around the map. Pretty good.
Clears waves. If you use it with your E, it clears the entire wave immediately.
Surprisingly good, especially because the Karma's going to be shoving you into that turret quite frequently. Let's see if we can utilize it effectively. Condi now actually waiting to see if he can get anything done in the mid lane here.
It's got a Sheen. Again, Aime had a lot of room to push up and be so aggressive in each of their lanes simply because it was the Hecarim jungle. You typically expect him to be farming up towards those items. Now that Condi has level 6 in his Sheen, we need to be a bit more respectful.
You see Athena in the mid lane, outplaying himself. Gets the root down and expects the dodge come out from Sia. Misses his Q. Top side of the map, Amazing J and 957 still trading back and forth, but a good trade coming out from 957 there.
Yeah, he has the sustain as well as now. These guys, it's everywhere is fighting everyone. At the moment, this is actually a good thing for WE though, as they get closer and closer towards those Trinity Force spikes. That's when they really want to turn it up and try and get in, get an advantage before the Cogmore starts scaling.
Speaking of Cogmore, he's been able to pick up his first recurve bow. And judging from the other components he's picked up, should be a Wits End first coming out from Cogmore again.
Certainly should be.
This is going to be a dive.
Condi looking to try and take away the Raptor camps to start things off. We have to see if he decides to dive on towards Athena. Mithy is close by.
It's because Xie's backed off. So they were looking for the possibility. Condi's fine.
Mithy slides in, picks up the Raptor camp for himself. Thanks, Condi, for the leash.
But Xie being the primary tell that they're not going to pull the trigger as soon as he disengaged from that.
Athena still being really aggressive though. He's able to lock down Sia, throws the Q into his face and continually harasses him underneath this turret. You can already see that turret's down to 1/3 of its health just from Athena pushing up aggressively on his own.
Yeah, maintaining consistent pressure in this middle lane means that Midi will actually have more freedom to move around the rift, actually look for ganks to get things done. And you've noted that every single time Condi is visible, the opposite sides of the map are being aggressive from Aime. They're playing this topsy-turvy game of pressuring where they can, when they can.
Athena is able to defend his pink ward there, pushes the Bard out of the river. Sia still struggling to farm underneath this turret, but hasn't fallen down just yet. There's only 10 CS behind. It's 0 now taking a lot of damage. Forced to use the magical journey to get himself to safety. So Amazing J 957 again, just duke it out on the top side of the map. Nothing too much happening between the two here. Taunt won't connect from Amazing J, unfortunately.
Oh, Zero's in trouble.
Has to flash over the red buff wall this time round. Road was able to wrap around the Baron Pit, or Dragon Pit, sorry. Threatens the Winter's Bite.
Big spikes to be seen from Aime. Morello's Wits and even Mobility Boots rushed from Road, so they're trying to make things happen now.
They do just that with picking up the Cloud Dragon, uncontested coming out from Team WE. It seems like once again they're getting awkward spawns here for Dragon control, but they were able to use 4 of those dragons last game to pick up a victory with the Elder Dragon pickup. We'll have to see if they can do the same thing here in game number 2.
Yeah, I agree. Team WE have been incredibly fortunate with the dragon spawns for how lackluster their early game has been against Aime in both these games so far. I mean, it went Cloud, Ocean, Cloud, and we're going to have almost the exact same setup this time around. Cloud now secured for Aime, and Ocean now lying in wait.
Let's see if Aime can make the most out of this disadvantage that RNG has created for them. I've been telling the story a few times, guys, but nothing else changed in the top lane. But in the mid lane now, Sia being really aggressive towards Athena. Mithy's here, though. There's the Stand United to try and keep the Karma alive. The flash to try and match the flash from Vladimir does not connect. And both mid laners will be able to get out with their lives.
Yeah, flashes out of the tether before the reaction can be there from Athena. It was really close. But his predictive flash was just slightly too late. As Aime show what the Shen's capable of. As 957 shows what he's also capable of in a bad way.
Also should be noted that all Amazing J really lost in that interaction was a wave, 957 pushing that in, so again starting to make the most out of the CS discrepancy. Or expand it, I should say.
Still only a 400 gold lead for Aime at the moment. That just purely comes from the first blood that was picked up by their team. Still have Jinjiao and Road farming up in the bottom lane.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of playing the same composition that WE are contented with doing, and that's hit 35 minutes and win the team fights, as they want top lane.
They're chasing him down. Mithy and Athena are up here as well. The taunt did land from Amazing J, but 957 uses his ultimate, is able to run away from the chasing members of Aime.
That was aggressive. From Aime, but it's never really going to amount to anything. However, the pressure on turret is there as they are all hiding from vision. 957 could go back there now if he wants, but might have his Trinity Force spike.
And the dive is actually coming in towards the mid lane. Athena does get locked down by the Tempered Fae. He's going to be locked down as well by the Cosmic Bind, and Sia picks up that kill. Finally, that dive connects, but Zero is going to get taken down by the turret shots.
1-for-1 trade, that's the best you can look for, but hold on, Road
Looking to try and fight Condi here. Concussive blows will land. He uses the ultimate as well. Mithy tries to chase him down. Flashes forward for that final lockdown. Condi has to use the charge to get away. Elizabeth Sliver, but Rose, bloodthirsty support over the wall, punches him in the face and picks up another kill.
Actually had to do that. That's so unlucky for Road.
Amazing J also canceling his teleport. Obviously not needed. All is said and done, though, I may actually make better out of the trade.
They certainly do, and they maintain their gold advantage as well. So a little bit of a fumble play coming out from Team WE with that dive on towards the mid lane. Smithy gets a little bit of counter jungling done as well during that time. Once again, very slow, very quiet game between the two teams.
Except the big spikes are now done. And so a lot of strength capable from the WE roster. Teleport, sort of in advantage. Of course, Shen always has one available. And so now you'd expect WE to be able to start making plays, working around the map, getting themselves advantages if possible.
Speaking of TP, we do have to note that Athena also has a teleport.
Oh no.
As Zero walks into a trap.
He's gone. Jinjiao just shreds him to pieces.
And this is something I may do a lot of the time. I like to call them the trap team. Again, they're constantly about unlocking road, moving around on the map, being very fast global compositions. And so they really like to play with vision and play with fog of war and try to beat their opponents to every turn and make little picks like that. So continue to keep your eyes about how they do that in the future, especially once these towers start falling down and the rest of the map becomes unlocked.
We kind of talked about this at the start of the first game. I'm a very pick-heavy team in comparison to the big team fights that will come out from Team WE, and they've been showing that in both these games so far.
I don't know, their team fights looked relatively strong as well. That said, they're drafting a fairly linear and straightforward compositions and protect Jin Zhao on Kog'Maw.
Yeah, it's more about fighting for the neutral objective so that it is a super standard team fight that they can execute upon.
Still very similar, these two teams. Not only in terms of where they stand on the ladder right now, but also in the way they play the game. IMA really trying to prove themselves against Team WE in this best-of-3 series. Condi and Zero standing on top of Ward as they try to look towards the mid lane again. Even 957's been pulled down here.
But they should know better than that. WE just watched, or Xie should know better than that. Athena tried to hit him with a Q as he was walking to the lane. Pretty obvious that there's a ward there. Why else would a Karma blind throw an empowered Q at you? Yet two people stand on top of that piece of vision.
So they waste a little bit of time, but they do not opt to pull the trigger. This dragon's going to be coming back up in a minute, like Frosco mentioned earlier. It's going to be an ocean dragon, so not the best dragons to spawn here for IMA, but they've been making the most of it in both games so far.
Still, if Team WE continue to give away these objectives for free, these Eldritchs are going to become more and more punishing. They were unable to navigate late game with that decision-making last time because of how many advantages they threw away early game. Don't want to put themselves in a similar situation.
Another ward being placed down by IMA. I'm pretty sure that one spotted out Condi moving into that brush.
IMA are fairly advanced with vision. Probably one of the better LPL teams. You see clever or sneaky little uses of vision every time.
Mid is also here.
He's on top of a pink ward, so unlike IMA, Team WE do not know he's close by to the bottom lane. Condi does opt to go back to base with his Hecarim instead. Picks up his Merc Boots. This time not even opting to upgrade his Smite, still sitting on that Hunter's Talisman. But did get a very early Trinity Force.
It's about accelerating his item build, so he spiked as soon as he possibly could. The jungling's not that big of a deal. With a Trinity Force, it'll work anyway. Realistically, IMA still in complete control of the Rift. Falling further and further behind is WE, and they should be starting to make things happen.
You can see Amazing Joe was able to get blue buff on over towards Athena, taking that one away from Team WE's side of the jungle. As they still duke it out on the top lane here. I may have now pulled the trigger on towards this Ocean Dragon. Will be spotted out by Team WE with the vision they placed down previously. Now a teleport going to be coming in as well. They want to fight for this one. Temper Fate does lock down Mithy. Dragon's at 2,000 health. Condi going to jump on top of him. There's the Stand United to try and keep the Graves alive. Does it, but Amazing J does get down into the fight, trying to take up as much damage as possible as 957 looks to chase on. Will get locked down by Athena. Flash forward. Coming up from Amazing J, trying to chase the Aurelia down. Doesn't get it. Meanwhile, Condi's been able to take down the Ocean Dragon as Jinjiao gets hit by that big boomerang blade coming out from Mystic. With slivers of health, though, Team WE able to repel IMA in that fight.
Yeah, forcing them out of the fight, or at least out of the pit area, means WE get what they can, and they're the ones looking for the fight actively. Yet IMA is still standing. Only Midi goes down. It's because he wastes his dash in the middle of the Tempered Fate animation and gets caught out, missing it. Unfortunate. The end result is honestly that Athena just wasn't able to help quick enough.
It's nice to see life coming out of Team WE, though. You were talking about a go button Rusty. It seems that they found it, realizing that they are sitting on that Trinity Force power spike. Hopefully, Team WE continue to be proactive, because again, window of opportunity. Jin Zhao is going to get massive late game. Yes, you have the Sivir, but it didn't go well for you in game 1. Hope to see them show Aimee a bit more respect and take a bit more responsibility in the early game.
Still gold lead in favor of Aimee, but it's a very small lead of 600, which is only from the 2 kills that are able to pick up over Team WE.
It's so funny that I say early game and it's like 21 minutes into the game, just because it is Team WE, but hold on.
Looking for 957 here. Mythy and Amazing J able to lock him down, get lots of damage on towards the Aurelia, but Condi has a thing or two to say about this one as he jumps on Mythy. Forced to use his ultimate to create some distance, but now Condi's low as well. Amazing J does get that taunt down. 957 going back in. Tries to lock him down. One more auto attack's going to be enough as he takes him down with the red buff. And now there's 3 members on top of this guy. Amazing J's got nowhere to run. He puts down the dodge field, tries to chase him with the taunt, but 957 just jumps back in and Mystic picks up that kill.
That poor bloke just left to die Midi. It was decision-making from Aimee across the board as now once again mid-lane pressure. And this is still positive. WE turning on that aggression.
Aimee, though, during that engagement, were able to take down 2 turrets. Now they're jumping on top of Sea. The exhaust will come out from Road. Temper Fate looking to try and lock them down, but a good sidestep comes out to the Brom to get to safety. Magical Journey now from Zero, trying to lock down the Brom. Another pick comes out for Team WE.
The Tempered Fate doesn't connect, but it does separate Road from his team. So like you said, they lose out on the towers, but are making it back in kill gold.
Team WE pull ahead in terms of gold as well, slightly ahead of Aimee right now.
And that's really scary because Aimee have the tower lead, so effectively Team WE are sitting on kind of a hidden 1k gold lead if they're able to even up that tower score.
Well, let's see if they can, as now Aimee looking to try and take down their own blue buff. You can see Condi was aggressively positioning to try and get in towards Aimee's side of the jungle, but it is secured by Athena and Mythy. And they've actually moved 957 down towards the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, I guess a lot more emphasis you would think is going to be placed on Baron when you see 957 bottom, but they changed their mind. It's more to hard push it and set themselves up for the beginning of a turret swap, albeit prolonged.
Well, Team WE able to take down the bottom lane outer turret and pick up that 1,000 gold lead for themselves over Aimee, but top side of the map, big wave pushing for Aimee with 3 champions now trying to take that one down.
Does open up the opportunity and slight advantage if Team WE want to try to push this one through. Athena is matching it.
Let's see what they can do.
Yeah, I mean, the Karma has a lot of wave clear. Can actually hold 2 people away from the turret quite successfully. This gives a good opportunity for Aimee. Even if they try and dive Athena, there is a Shen and Midi to help him out.
Let's see what they can do here, because Team WE are actually looking to try and wrap around, it seems. Condi instead opts to go take down the Rift Scuttle instead. So just picking up vision wherever he possibly can. They stop the push through coming out from Team WE, and they're able to get that turret trade to keep the gold even between the 2 teams.
Again, still 3 towers for Aimee, 2 towers to Team WE. Have to think that Team WE have an innate advantage here, simply because they have free gold still standing on the map.
Smite comes out from Condi there, able to take the Gromp down for himself. Jin Zhao was threatening to try and steal that one. Speaking of Jin Zhao, he's got his Wits End as well as the Runan's Hurricane being picked up, so big item power spike coming out for the Kog'Maw. But same thing can be said for Mystic once again with the Essence Reaver now picking up his Static Shiv and looking for the components of his Infinity Edge next. Condi will also be able to pick up his Cinderhulk as his second item of choice, so picking up more tank stats for now.
Yeah, starting to get the tools here, both of these teams, in the way of items, in the way of strength and their strategy that they're looking to implement. Of course, Jin Zhao with 2.5 items means that you can still look towards protecting him. He definitely has the damage to carry. Same thing applies for Midi, for Aimee, working towards his armor penetration build. Will be doing a lot of damage in this game, whereas everyone from WE is set up to kill both of them.
Throw now actually being caught out there by Zero, puts down a Magical Journey in case things go south. But he simply jumps back to Jin Zhao and gets to safety.
He's going for spooky ghosts.
He is too.
There's the red Ruby Sightstone build, so it has extra wards, which is quite valuable, but instead, I think, opted towards getting this because he just needs to be item efficient or slot efficient with his items.
Also has the decreased CDR on the proc.
Looking to try and take down Athena here. Mithy is there to help him out. Gets a lot of damage back down and return on towards the Hecarim.
Trades like that are really good, though, for Athena. Sorry, for CA. Athena doesn't have a great time. Any trade that goes even is a trade that a Vladimir wins after a time.
Well, no Malzahar in this game, but still a Quicksilver Sash pickup coming out from Aimee. And Jin Zhao's going to be one that picks this one up to try and negate some of the crowd control that will come out from Team WE later on.
I mean, really the only person he's dealing with there is either going to be Bard or Aurelia. Otherwise, doesn't have a lot of use for the QSS. So
it's actually quite big for exhaust as the Kog'Maw. When all of the efforts are towards you carrying, you cannot be impeded on doing your damage.
Dragon is back up and available, but they're looking for a fight. Rogue puts up the shield and a choke point to try and stop some of the damage that comes out from Team WE. They're looking to clear as much vision as possible and get control over this Dragon Pit. Actually tag that one up. It's another Ocean Dragon. Aimee looking to try and take it down and start this.
Team WE just need to stall this right now because Xie is just now walking out of base.
Well, it's already down to 2,500 health. Seems like Mithy should be able to take this one down. We'll get the smite off and no steal will come out from Team WE, who make a push towards the mid lane. I may have a thing or two to say about that one as they try to shove them off the hard way.
Wow. That was just a mistake from Xie, having to recall for the Zonias. Granted, that's a big spike. It's very easy for Aimee to say, just go. And they look towards that Drake and take it before anyone can react.
As there's a flash forward coming out from Amazing J. Zero actually getting locked down. Temper Fate doesn't connect with anyone. Road looking to start a fight. Nails the ultimate onto 957, who gets locked down by concussive blows as well. Sia now diving into the backline. Jin Zhao will be able to get the Stand United to keep himself alive. He's trying to spray and pray while he can, but Condi is a huge force to be reckoned with. Amazing J gets taken down by the Vladimir, and still Team WE come out on top.
Big team fight again from WE. They're getting the kills. They've just been lacking those objectives, but the timing of this fight will be quite handy for the mid lane turret. That's a very big move.
And that will fall down, giving Team WE a 2,000 gold advantage over Aimee.
Teleporting for Baron?
Yep, this is rather auspicious. Pulling 957, who's healed up, teleporting in. They do have great burn.
Let's see if they can take this one down. Pings are coming out from Aimee to see if they can try and stop this. It's already down to half health. Only Athena in this pit. Jin Zhao a little bit too slow to react to this one. 2,500. It has to be a miracle steal now if they want to try and contest for this one. Here comes Mithy. He's going to try and get over the pit here. 1,800. 957 doing what he can to lock them up. Sia actually able to take down Athena, and Baron will fall to Team WE.
Big wind up from WE. They ensure that as they pull the trigger on the smite, everybody's bursting it at the same time. They don't give Mithy an opportunity to walk in and steal it. Exactly what you expect from WE.
But like you said, Rusty, the timing of that fight was perfect for Team WE. Not only do they break that mid tower, but this is a massive swing in power by also picking up the Baron on the back half. Their composition is excellent at diving and sieging, and there's wave clear on Karma as well as Kog'Maw having that Hurricane, but the threat of a dive with a Hecarim, they have to be very respectful and might lose a lot of these outers.
Let's see if Aimee can hold on here, because now 4,000 gold behind Team WE is going to be difficult for them to look for these team fights. Rageblade is going to be picked up by Jin Zhao shortly. Has a couple of the components, but on the flip side of the map, lots of big items coming out for Team WE as well.
The Kog'Maw's not doing damage. That's really the problem. He wants to go for a Guinzu's Rageblade build, but he had to go a QSS first, which I personally do not think was ultimately that necessary to get. And because of this, he's just not doing as much damage as anybody else is on the side of WE. The hyper carry of Aimee just needs 10 more minutes to continue scaling. And if they don't get to that point, they lose the game. The Baron buff's now going to accelerate.
Well, here comes the Temper Fate. Is able to actually lock down Jin Zhao. He's in trouble. Will get stunned up by 957 as well. Stand United keeps Jin Zhao alive. Point blank range coming out from Amazing J. But big summoners and big ultimates being burnt just to keep their Kog'Maw alive. And they're still looking to try and push through on this bottom lane.
Aimee did do a good job kind of diffusing a lot of this push. So yes, they pick up an inner tower here, but it's not like they can immediately rotate towards the mid or the top tower because those waves are both crashing against them or neutralized. So Aimee did buy themselves some time while Team WE go to set up their next big move.
Zero's Bard is spectacular. Actually the biggest deal right now.
Tell me about it, Bard, man.
The best. Bard is also the best.
Well, let's see if good old Bardo can do more in this game.
Wrong client, Fish.
Zero's been having a good performance so far. But still a big goal lead for Team WE in general. 5,000 gold up ahead of Iman, looking to try and continue pushing here. Mid lane inner turret and top lane inner turret still stands for Iman as they desperately try to hold on against Team WE, who are looking strong in this second set.
Again, need to be very careful about defending these inner towers. You see Condi off to the side, or when he stands off to the side, now he's moved behind them. Has great flanking potential.
Still the biggest concern, honestly, is that I may need to get towards their next item for the Cogmore. Once they are there, they can continue fighting and maybe winning them. But at this point, a Spirit Visage and a small amount of armor is all they really need. I may are just holding on.
Team WE looking to try and choke out Imei. It seems that they take away as many of the jungle camps as they possibly can as they rotate up towards the top side of the map to try and push down the top lane inner turret. Amazing J was sent up here to try and deal with 957, but now he has Baroned up minions as well as the rest of Team WE collapsing on top of him. This turret going to take a lot of damage. Tempered Fate looking to try and lock down Jin Zhao, will not connect, but they do get the turret and immediately back away with On the Hunt.
It doesn't matter if the Tempered Fate doesn't connect, it simply is acting as a zoning tool effectively. If it hits them, pull the trigger if you like that target. If not, re-roll.
Yep, and just take the turret in the meantime. Very clever, again, from WE. They've got momentum. They actually have a sizable gold advantage, and they are starting to work on this map. That Baron buff that they got really did blow it out in their favor.
Imei still looking to do the exact same thing that they've been doing for some time now, which is just hold on and farm up whatever resources they can against Team WE. We're approaching that late game again. And Team WE normally looks strong. They did in that first match, but Imei put up a good fight. There's one big play that turned the game around.
The difference, though, is that Imei had the gold lead for the majority of that first game, or were just underneath Team WE. This time around, like Rusty was saying, there's a massive blowout. That Baron was a huge swing of power, and the items difference is just speaking for itself. Team WE, I mean, Mystic in particular, sitting on all of his core itemization. We're still waiting for this Kog'Maw to come online. The problem with the Gunsu Rageblade build is that these two ingredients are so weak before you put them together.
I think he has it now, but it coincides with the Drake timing, so they'll lose that objective for just an item spike.
Another Ocean Dragon does get taken down, so 2 dragons apiece for Imei and Team WE. 2 Oceans for Team WE and a Cloud and an Ocean for Imei, with Elder Dragon coming up next. Like you said, Rusty, it is the Gwyn's Rageblade that does get picked up by Jin Zhao here.
Still 2 Drakes for 2. Imei are doing all right in that particular objective. Athena has a lot of ability power. Starting to drop off, though, in terms of damage output until he had his Void Staff, and now Imei have got more tools.
Baron is now down, but Imei are still 6,000 gold behind Team WE.
And that's a big adjustment in these compositions. The fact that Athena isn't going to be that secondary damage threat like he could be on the Malzahar at this point. Like you said, he's dropped off, so all your eggs are in the Jin Zhao basket, and this guy has just now shown up.
Right at WE o'clock.
Well, Athena's also been able to pick up his Rabadon's Death Clap as well as the Void Staff. So going to be adding a little bit more damage for Imei.
Do you believe in the Golden Horn, Rusty?
I believe at 35 minutes, WE is the best team in the LPL. That's what I believe.
His money's on the Elder Drake team. My money's on the little Golden Horn.
Well, 1 minute and 15 seconds till that 35-minute mark, and also coincides with the next Baron spawn, which will be in a minute as well, as Team WE setting up a death punch around the red buff and controlling vision wherever they possibly can around the Baron pit. They have 957 off towards the bottom lane, split pushing. In fact, it's Athena that's sent down there to deal with that push.
Does have teleport, so they can work around the map. This is something that was missing, actually, in game number 1 between both teams. Mid laners not having teleport, so a slight edge capable for Imei if they can work around any kind of 1-3-1 or diffusal of a single lane, letting Amazing J push the other.
And the solo laners are about to hit level 18 as well. Sia's already done just that. You have Athena and 957 at 17 and Amazing J at 16, so almost reaching their level cap.
That's what Jin Zhao wants in particular. Of course, Kog'Maw's ultimate executes now. The lower health somebody is, and 16 increases your range to be unreasonably large.
Let's see if we can get just that. This Baron is now going to spawn here. Team WE already have really good vision control over this area.
Likewise, should be noted that Jin Zhao is the only person on his team who has a blue trinket. Athena choosing to stick with his yellow trinket. So as soon as they get that cooldown, it's going to be very dangerous to approach this Baron Pit.
When they do knock them away, Condi immediately moves in towards
Kick it
that
off.
Baron Pit, and they start that one off. Amazing J is still split pushing the bottom side of the map. Baron's down to half its health already. Road looking to try and wrap them around. A good Temper Fate does come out. Road's trying to stop them for as long as possible. Cosmic Binding locks down Jin Jiao, flashes away from Condi. He's going to fall. Road now getting taken out, but 957 dashes in, is able to help with Sia to take down the Cogmore. The rest of Aimee just trying to run for the hills now as Team WE just chase them down one by one and pick up 3 kills.
And WE do this like 5 minutes in advance. They just wait for the Baron. They make the play around it. Not only do they control the area to the point where red buff was a risk to walk into, they secure a fight around it because of Zero's Bard play once again.
And it's 35 minutes almost exactly, Rusty, when that team fight started. So Team WE staying true to their name. They take the gamble, they take it to a single team fight.
Oh,
And
Zero
looking for the one-on-one to add on to his Bard plays. Mithy down to less than 100 health here. Zero is still chasing, tops him off with a little bit of hot cocoa, but Team WE might be able to end the game before that. Let's see if he can do just that. The minions now looking to try and help him. The rest of Team WE looking to try and end the game here. Next is going to fall, but that doesn't matter too much, as Zero also picks up the solo kill onto Mithy to finish that game. Team WE tie it back up 1-1.
yeah, we're going to game 3, boys. So again, the race to see who is the 3rd best team in China continues. Aimee put up a strong fight in game number 1, but Team WE, as business as usual, 35 minutes. Oh.
Yep, they banned a Malzahar this time around, and it's almost like killing the Cogmore is infinitely easier when one of the strongest champions in Summoner's Rift is on the ban list.
Exactly that. Team WE able to pick up the victory in game number 2 there. Aimee were able to put up a decent fight in the early game, but it just seems like once they took that first Baron down, it was pretty much lights out for Aimee.
I think it really goes back to this idea that even in game 1, Team WE were pretty much in full control for the majority of that game. Coming into game 2, they just didn't make that critical late game decision error of running from Baron into the Elder Drake and just kept it clean 35 minutes, baited them into Baron and cleaned it up. And this is what we expected from game 1.
You know, a couple of fumbled dive attempts coming out from Team WE. And this was a bloodthirsty Braum that had to flash over the wall to get that kill here. Aimee looked strong to start this game off. And even looked strong here, but I believe this was actually turned around by Team WE.
It was, yeah, once again, 957 was trying really hard to set up baits in fights like this. This is actually where Midi comes back in, but Amazing J has different plans on who he wants to kill. The second the taunt's used, sitting duck, 957 just plays with him.
He plays out this whole exchange rather well, dodging the second taunt as well right there, and then uses the Blade Surge to clean up the back half of it. 957, again, we always knew he could play the tanks, but seeing him play carries is beautiful.
And that was only one of that was the last team fight, but only one of the big Temper Fates that Zero hit. He had a phenomenal performance on that Bard.
Yeah, and we said coming into the first game, Bard's probably going to be a concern between both of these teams. Road also plays a fantastic Bard, yet Zero is the first to pick it up, even with all of the support bans and focus there, and goes off on it.
He certainly did, and he had a fantastic game on that one. Team WE able to tie it up 1-1 against Aimee. We still have one final game in this series, so we'll be back in about 5 minutes for that last match.